The family party was loud, crowded, and full of people who knew how to smile for pictures but not for truth. Balloons floated near the ceiling. Music played softly. Relatives moved from room to room, laughing, eating, pretending this was what a happy family looked like. I stood near the wall, drink in hand, already regretting that I came. My sister was the center of attention, as always. My mother hovered around her, fixing her hair, praising her job, her looks, her life choices, loud enough for everyone to hear. "She's done so well," my mother said proudly. "We always knew she'd be special," my father added. People nodded. Compliments flew. No one looked at me. I told myself it was fine. I was used to it. Being the quiet one. The extra one. The child who existed, but never quite belonged. Dinner was served, and everyone gathered around the long table. That's when my uncle made a casual joke. "You two must have kept your parents busy," he laughed. "Raising siblings isn't easy." My mother smiled politely. Then she said it. "If I'm being honest," she said, laughing lightly, "sometimes I wish we'd only had one child." The room froze. I felt my chest tighten instantly, like all the air had been pulled out. My father nodded, completely serious. "Life would have been simpler," he said. "Your sister never caused problems." Never caused problems. I looked up slowly. "Are you talking about me?" My mother sighed, annoyed. "Don't start." My sister smirked, pretending to be embarrassed. "Mom, stop." But she didn't mean it. My father leaned back in his chair. "You've always taken things personally." "This is exactly what we mean." "Exactly what?" "You wish I wasn't born?" I asked quietly. My mother rolled her eyes. "We're just being honest." "Why do you always make yourself the victim?" "Victim." I looked around the table. At faces I'd known my whole life. No one defended me. No one corrected them. No one even looked surprised. That hurt more than the words. I thought of every time I'd stayed late to help. Every family event I showed up to. Every apology I made just to keep the peace. And in one sentence, they erased all of it. I pushed my chair back slightly. "So you regret having me," I said. My father shrugged. "It is what it is." Something inside me went very still. I wasn't angry. I was clear. I stood up. "I think I should leave," I said calmly. My sister laughed. "Wow. You're really going to make a scene?" I looked at her. "No. I'm finally removing myself from one." My mother snapped, "You're being dramatic." I grabbed my jacket and headed for the door. As I stepped outside, the noise from inside faded behind me. And standing there alone, I understood something I'd avoided my entire life. They didn't say it by mistake. They meant it. And in that moment, I made a decision I'd been too afraid to make before. If they wished I didn't exist, I would stop living my life for their approval. And they had no idea what that would change. I didn't go back inside that night. I drove until the music in my head finally stopped. My phone buzzed once, then again, but I ignored it. For the first time, I wasn't trying to explain myself. The next morning felt strange. Not lighter. Not heavier. Just clear. I didn't text my parents. I didn't call my sister. I didn't tell anyone what happened. Days passed. No one reached out. That silence spoke louder than anything they'd said at the party. I stopped showing up. No weekly dinners. No family favors. No last-minute requests. At first, guilt tried to creep in. Years of conditioning don't disappear overnight. But then something unexpected happened. I slept better. I focused on work without the constant background noise of wanting approval. I took on responsibilities I'd been avoiding, not because I couldn't handle them, but because I was tired of proving myself. A week later, my sister finally messaged me. "Mom's upset. You embarrassed her." I stared at the screen. "Not are you okay? Not that hurt you. Just blame." I replied. "She embarrassed me." No response. 2 days later, my father called. I let it go to voicemail. "You're being disrespectful. Families don't abandon each other over words." Words. I replayed that sentence. They hadn't abandoned me over words. They'd abandoned me over existence. Another week passed. Then the tone changed. My sister called again, this time softer. "I'm overwhelmed," she said. "I could really use your help." Old reflexes kicked in. I almost said yes. Instead, I asked, "Why now?" She hesitated. "Because, you're good at fixing things." I closed my eyes. "I've been fixing things my whole life," I said. "Including things that broke me." Silence. That was the first moment she didn't have an answer. The next message came from my mother. "Let's talk." "We didn't mean it like that." I agreed to meet. Not because I missed them. Because I needed to say something out loud that I'd carried quietly for years. This time, I wasn't going back as the child who hoped to be chosen. I was going back as someone who had already chosen himself. And they still didn't understand. Wishing someone away doesn't end when the words stop. It changes everything that comes after. I didn't go back inside that night. I drove with no destination, letting the silence settle. My phone buzzed once, then again. I didn't look. For the first time, I wasn't chasing an explanation. The next morning felt different, not lighter, not heavier, just clear. I didn't call my parents. I didn't text my sister. I didn't tell anyone what happened. Days passed. No one reached out. That silence answered every question I still had. I stopped showing up. No weekly dinners. No family errands. No last-minute favors. At first, guilt tried to creep in. Years of being the understanding one don't disappear overnight. But slowly, something unexpected happened. I slept better. I focused on my work without constantly wondering if I was enough. I took on responsibilities I'd been avoiding, not because I was scared, but because I was tired of proving my worth to people who had already decided it. A week later, my sister finally messaged. "Mom's really upset. You embarrassed her." I stared at the screen. "Not are you okay? Not that hurt you. Just blame." I typed back. "She embarrassed me first." No reply. 2 days later, my father called. I let it go to voicemail. "You're overreacting. Families don't fall apart over a comment." A comment. I replayed that sentence again and again. They didn't fall apart over a comment. They revealed the truth through it. Another week passed. Then the tone changed. My sister called again, her voice quieter. "I'm overwhelmed," she said. "I could use your help." Old habits kicked in. I almost said yes. Instead, I asked, "Why me?" She paused. "Because you're good at fixing things." I swallowed. "I've been fixing things my whole life," I said. "Including things that broke me." She didn't answer. That was new. Later that night, a message came from my mother. "We should talk. We didn't mean it the way you took it." I agreed to meet. Not because I missed them. Because I needed to say something out loud that I had swallowed for years. This time, I wasn't walking back as the child hoping to be chosen. I was walking back as someone who had finally chosen himself. And they still didn't realize. Some words can't be taken back. They change the relationship forever.